My wife handed me a DNA test at Christmas dinner. The words that followed destroyed me. She slid the envelope across the table like it was nothing. No trembling, no hesitation. Just a quiet, deliberate motion, as if she were passing salt. Christmas lights blinked behind her, soft, warm, stupidly cheerful, a contrast sharpening to cut skin. Our families laughed in the living room, unaware of the silence on our side of the table. The turkey steam rose between us. Cinnamon candles burned too sweetly. Everything looked perfect, except her eyes. Empty, hollow, already packed with a truth she wanted to release. "Open it," she whispered. Her voice didn't shake. Mine would have. But I didn't speak. I just stared at the envelope, white, thin, harmless in appearance. My name was written in her handwriting. Curved letters. Familiar. Loving, once. I opened it slowly. A piece of paper slid out, landing face up. DNA paternity test results. For a moment, I didn't breathe. The room dimmed. Not literally, but in that way where sound detaches itself from the world and your chest hollows out. She looked at me, eyes glistening with something between guilt and liberation. "It's time you knew," she said softly. The paper in my hand fluttered as though trying to escape. My pulse didn't rise. My face didn't crack. I stayed still. But something inside me shifted. Not a snap, not a break. A calculation. A cold, silent reordering of my world. And in the background, faint laughter from the living room carried on, oblivious to the moment my life quietly bled out on the dinner table. I didn't read the results right away. Not because I feared them. Fear requires uncertainty. And a part of me, the darker, quieter part, had already known. Maybe for months. Maybe longer. Suspicion doesn't shout. It whispers. It hides between moments, behind smiles, inside late-night phone vibrations. I had felt it. In the way she became distant after our son's 5th birthday. In the strange tension whenever her phone lit up. In the sudden work dinners that left her glowing in a way work never could. I buried those thoughts, called them insecurity, called them stress, called them anything but what they were. Now they sat on a sheet of paper between my fingers. She inhaled deeply, preparing herself. "I didn't want to do this today," she began. A lie. She chose today deliberately. Christmas. Family watching. A day soaked with meaning. She wanted the emotional impact reduced, or maybe amplified. Hard to tell with her anymore. "I've been carrying this for years," she continued. "And he deserves the truth." I looked up at her slowly. "Do you?" I asked. She blinked, thrown off for the first time. "What?" "Deserve it." A pause. A tremor. Her mask slipping by a fraction. "I didn't do this to hurt you." Another lie. People don't destroy worlds by accident. The words rolled inside my skull like distant thunder. "Your son isn't yours." She hadn't said it yet, not aloud, but it hung between us, heavy and poisonous. I still hadn't read the results. I placed the paper face down on the tablecloth and studied her expression. The way she avoided eye contact. The way her fingers worried the edge of her napkin. The relief mixed with dread in her eyes. She was confessing and hoping for mercy. I wasn't sure which disgusted me more. Something icy crawled into my chest. Not pain, not heartbreak. Clarity. She thought she was ending my world. She didn't know she was waking something in me instead. I didn't confront her that night. That would have been too easy for her. Instead, I folded the paper neatly, slipped it into my pocket, and told her in a calm, empty voice, "We'll talk tomorrow." She seemed relieved. That was her first mistake. The next morning, while she showered, I sat in the living room with the report finally open. The words were simple, cold, scientific. Probability of paternity, 0%. The sentence looked unreal, like a phrase from someone else's nightmare. But I didn't feel the expected explosion. No rage, no heartbreak, just calculation. I copied the test's reference number, searched the lab, checked the timestamps. Something felt off. The test had been done 2 weeks ago, without my knowledge, using samples I never provided. She didn't just discover the truth. She confirmed a truth she already knew. The father wasn't me, and she had known for years. A numb calm settled in my bones. I almost admired her strategy, if strategy was what it was. She had tested the child behind my back. She had prepared her confession. She had chosen Christmas as the sage. This wasn't spontaneity.
this was control, or her attempt at it. But she underestimated my silence. While she got dressed for her morning walk, I entered her SETI. I knew her password. It hadn't changed in years. Arrogance disguised as trust. Her messages told me everything. Years of conversations with someone saved simply as H. Hidden photos, travel receipts, hotel check-ins, a pregnancy timeline that
overlapped perfectly with a conference she attended 6 years ago. I scrolled without emotion. By the time she returned, breathless from her fake walk, I had copied everything onto a separate drive. She walked into the room, hair damp, cheeks flushed. "You didn't open the results last night," she said carefully. "I did this morning," I replied. "Are you okay?" The question should have cut me. Instead, it informed me. She genuinely didn't know how I would respond. She feared the unknown more than the truth. "Fine," I said. She relaxed visibly. "Second mistake." I smiled, small, controlled. Because now I knew everything. And she had no idea I knew. 2 days later, the official retest arrived, the one I had ordered myself. I took my son to the clinic quietly, turning the moment into a game so he wouldn't sense anything. He smiled at me the whole time. He trusted me completely. And that hurt more than anything else. Not because he wasn't biologically mine, but because he believed I would always protect him. And I would, no matter whose blood ran through his veins. When the second results came in, they matched the first. 0% paternity. This time, the truth didn't sting. It settled. Final. Undeniable. That evening, I set the envelope on the kitchen counter where she couldn't ignore it. She froze when she saw it. Her throat moved in a swallow. "You got another test?" "Yes." "Why?" "To confirm." She paled. "And?" I didn't speak. I slid the envelope toward her, the same way she had done at Christmas dinner. Her hands shook as she opened it. Her breath stuttered. Her eyes filled with panic. "Please," she whispered. "We can talk about this." Now she wanted discussion. Now she wanted softness. "Who is he?" I asked. The question wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. She collapsed into a chair. Tears spilled instantly. Performative or real, I couldn't tell anymore. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, but it did. He was my boss. It was a mistake. I thought you would never find out. I thought he would never matter. The irony tasted bitter. He mattered enough to replace me genetically. He mattered enough to haunt 6 years of my life. She reached for me. I stepped back. Her face broke. For the first time, she understood I wasn't reacting anymore. I was deciding. Silently. Coldly. Strategically. And she wasn't ready for the version of me she had just created. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse. I didn't crumble. I sat across from her at the kitchen table. Same place she had chosen to kill our marriage. And placed one more item beside her trembling hands. A USB drive. Her eyes flicked to it. Confusion. Fear. "What's that?" "Everything." Everything what?" "Your messages. Your photos. Your trip receipts. Your little hotel rendezvous. Your Christmas Eve call with him. The last 6 years you spent living a double life." She gasped. "You went through your life." I finished for her. She covered her mouth with her hand. Tears streamed freely now. Not elegant. Not controlled. Just raw panic. "You don't understand," she cried. "I love you." The worst part? She believed that. In whatever twisted way she defined love. I stood slowly. "You chose Christmas to tell me," I said quietly. "You thought the timing would soften the blow. Make me forgive you. Make you look honest." She crumbled. "Please. Don't leave. Don't take him away from me. Don't." "I'm not taking him," I said. "I'm taking myself." She flinched as though struck. I placed one last document on the table. A pre-drafted separation agreement. Her betrayal was emotional. My revenge was logical. "No lawyers," she whispered. "No noise," I replied. "Just truth. Clean. Quiet." She sobbed, shoulders shaking violently. "You planned this," she realized. "Everything." "Yes,"
I walked toward the front door without looking back. Her voice cracked behind me. Please, don't go. Please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Her apologies didn't follow me out the door. Only her breaking did. I didn't cry when I left. I didn't shake. I didn't doubt. I drove to the only place that still felt real. An empty park where I used to take my son when he was still learning to walk. I sat on a bench and watched the swing move in the wind, its chain squeaking softly. He wasn't biologically mine, but every memory on that swing was. And somehow that made the betrayal quieter, but deeper. I thought about the Christmas lights blinking behind her as she handed me the first envelope. The guilt, the relief, the selfishness disguised as honesty. She wanted freedom, so I gave her something else. Consequences. Cold. Clean. Consequences. When I finally stood to leave, the night felt different. Lighter almost. Not healed. Not whole. But controlled. I knew what mattered now. Who mattered. And as I walked toward my car, I whispered a truth I had learned too late. Blood makes you related. Love makes you a father. The final piece of me that cared for her broke off and fell away. Quiet. Brutal. Final. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The past was behind me, and I had no intention of returning to it.